Welcome to the BoneYard Racing video review of the Kinnettic Kreations SRT4 mini wire tuck harness, N2MB watt box harness add-on, and the watt box itself. What we're going to cover today in this video is the installation of these three components, how they work together, and how to program the watt box itself. We're going to be doing the installation today on a customer of mine's car here. It's a 2005 SRT4 ACR. It's a fairly common bolt-on car, stage 2, cold air intake, a few things like that. Nothing that's going to affect how the wiring harness goes in. And what I'm going to do today is we're going to install this, and we're going to just go over all the steps required to install it and to get the best fitment out of it. So the first thing we want to talk about, I suppose, is what is going to be required to do the installation. It's not particularly complex. Main things you're going to need are floor jack and jack stands, and some relatively basic hand tools. Things I have laid out already that we're going to need. You're going to need a 1/4 inch or 3/8 drive, it really doesn't matter, socket set. 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 13 millimeter are the critical ones out of there. You're going to need, I like these 1/4 inch impact guns to take some things apart. Namely, we're going to have to take the intake manifold off. I've got a 3/8 drive here for that. Some screwdrivers, flat blade screwdrivers. Most of these cars by now have a couple extraneous zip ties holding parts of the wiring in place, so you probably need some side cutters to take those off. You're going to want a drop light of some kind as well, and possibly the most important thing, and something we're going to reference in all the videos we do here from now and in the future, is a copy of the factory service manual. I have mine on my PC here. It's available if you look around on the forums, online, what have you. It's available for download. And that's about it as far as the introduction. So we're just going to jump in here and get started putting this in. I will preface the video with the statement that I'm a mechanic, not a videographer. So forgive me. Some of this might be a little rough. Hopefully it'll get better as we go on. And if there's any questions, any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section at the bottom. And we're going to try to give you the most complete shot of this we can. So just give me a minute here. I'm going to get the camera in position. Okay, the first step we're going to do in the case of this car is we're going to remove this strut bar. It's just going to be in our way. It's a couple of bolts to remove it, 12 millimeter. If you have BC coilovers, 13 millimeter. If you've got stock struts on the car. You want to remove this strut bar, if you have it, on your vehicle while the car is on the ground, obviously. it off the rear bolts first, and you get it off the front when they're, and then once you get it rotated, it's real easy to just come over and pop it off the remaining side. You can use a pry bar or something to help you pop it off. It's not a big deal. Be careful, obviously, with paint working things. Don't do that. We'll set that to the side for now. And we'll go ahead and put our strut bolts back in place here. So we have that taken care of. Our next step is going to be to get the car lifted up on some jack stands, and then we're going to go ahead and start removing the intake manifold and the rest of the wiring. Shape here, good and solid on the jack stands. Okay, next step we're going to do, we want to go ahead and remove the cold air intake pipe, the injector cover, and we're going to try to just remove those two things for now. these things, it's going to be an 8mm for most of your hose clamps on these cars. Now, utilizing our flat blade screwdriver, we're going to take off this clamp here on the intake pipe, like so. And we'll remove the intake pipe. Set that aside. Alrighty. Now, we do want to be very careful with these hoses. As you can see, this car has the Mopar carbon fiber valve covers. We want to handle that with some extreme caution. Now, we want to go ahead from here on out. We're sort of at the point where we're going to start removing wires. First things first. First wire we remove always when working on wiring. You want to remove the battery terminal. Negative battery terminal. Pull that off just for the sake of safety. It's a 10mm. Just going to pull it off right like so. Get all our cables off of there. The car has an additional grounding kit on it, so there's a few more connections at the negative battery than there would be on some of your cars. Just thread the bolt back in there so we don't lose track of it. The fuel injector cover you remove simply by pulling up on it, and that is whether it's stock or an aftermarket, one of these aluminum ones. And that obviously exposes us on this side of the engine to quite a bit of the wiring. So what we're going to do from here on out is we're going to begin unplugging some wiring connections. We're going to start from this side of the engine and we're going to work our way over. So the first plug we're going to remove